Have you ever found yourself wondering how you have manifested the bad experiences in your life when you're actually trying to do the opposite? You're trying to manifest from this high vibrational place, and then something crappy shows up in your life, you know? Um, and you can start wondering, like, how's this even possible? Because you're not in that energy. You're really focusing all of your attention on maintaining that high vibrational state to attract the life that you want to have, and something dodgy shows up. So this can kind of make you question everything and, like, what's really going on. It can make you doubt the manifestation's even real. Like, I've been through this myself. And the key to all of this is, like, behind the scenes, there is energy consciousness, which is like the fuel that is driving your reality. And I really wanted to talk about this on Unmasking the Magic. So I invited my good friend Terrye MJ to come along and help us unpack what energy consciousness is, and the energy consciousness, like, of your own body, to help you manifest in a consistent way. And I consider Terrye to be like an expert when it comes to the consciousness of anything. Terrye for me is like the go-to person. And she can explain things, like, from this completely other perspective that I don't have, like that. It's phenomenal. Like, so I know this conversation with Terrye is going to be amazing, and I know you're going to love it, and you're going to have so many profound insights, and you'll probably start looking at yourself a different way too, because pretty sure we're going to get into, like, the energy consciousness of your body and how this can help you manifest consistently in your life so that you can manifest a life that you love. So exciting. And a little bit about Terrye. Let me tell you about Terrye. So Terrye has explored energy realities for the past 18 years. Her guides and teachers are archangels, ascended masters, and source itself. Her manifested abilities include seeing into the body, mind, and emotions while bearing witness to the intelligence of energy frequency as it interacts. Her mission is to share this knowledge to empower individuals. So that's what Terrye's doing today. She's on Unmasking the Magic, and she's going to help us to unravel the mysteries of energy consciousness so that you can create a life that you love. Welcome to Unmasking the Magic, where the mystical meets the practical and fuels your success. I'm your host, Sharon Atkinson, and I'll be your metaphysical maverick on this journey, where every week we'll pull back the curtain to reveal how concepts such as intuition, manifestation, and the quantum field, and pretty much everything else otherworldly, can help empower you to reach new levels of success, meaning, and fulfillment in business, career, and life. Get ready to be inspired, enlightened, and empowered, and let's unmask the magic together. Thank you, Terrye, for coming back on Unmasking the Magic. I'm so excited to have you here today. And we're talking about energy consciousness in the body with Terrye today. Terrye is a guru. Like, this is definitely her forte. From my opinion, anyway. Whether you see yourself that way, Terrye, I'm very sorry.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so this is going to be like a, we're going to see how this plays out to a large extent. So I have some things I want to ask you too. So energy consciousness in the body. So, okay, for this conversation, just so we're all on the same page for what we're going to be speaking about today, can you explain, like, when it comes to energy consciousness, like, what you mean, like your perspective and your take on that?
Okay. Really big conversation. Okay, so we've got to start outside of ourselves for that conversation, right? Just to have an even platform, I guess, and understanding. So we take it outside of ourselves into the galaxy, the universe. If I say galaxy, I just mean universe. So throughout the universe, there is a consciousness. You know, some people call it Allah, God, Buddha, the absolute source, whatever it is, you name it, it's the same thing. It's an energy being. It's not a he. It's an energy being in the universe that, and its energy permeates everything in existence. And that is a frequency. That energy isn't like, it's not tangible, like, you know, we can pick something up, but it is real, and it is the foundation of everything that exists.
A bit like Wi-Fi. We can't see it, but we know it's there.
No, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it vibrates a frequency, right? And it has the purest, highest level of loving frequency possible. Not that we can experience that, you know, like, it's not the love of physical, you know, from person to person. It's a deeper, more expansive love, right? That is a shorter or smaller, heavier element of that frequency.
Yeah.
And that frequency of love permeates everywhere and changes when it interacts with a consciousness that is of a different frequency, right? So I think we spoke about it in our last chat, how the frequency moves through the universe, and when it comes through, let's say, the chakra system, it changes to match the chakra.
Yeah.
And then it changes again to match our physical.
I think we did too. So I might put like a link to that episode like in the description, so people can go find that and they can go check that out as well.
Yeah. So I'm really making this topic really succinct, right?
Yeah.
So we've got this beautiful, loving frequency of consciousness that we are a droplet of. I mean, our soul is a droplet of that divine consciousness, right? And we chose to incarnate for this one into a human body so that we can utilize that beautiful knowledge that we have as a soul and come into a physical and manifest with that energy into the physical, right? But the earth frequency is a really heavy frequency, and there's a crap load going on, and we all know that.
Yeah, there is.
There's other realities that I've seen that don't have the level of diversity in emotions, and it doesn't have the intensity that we have here on earth.
Yeah, it's like I think of it like this really intricate kind of training ground. Like, we signed up for this because we wanted to experience it all. And like, we absolutely are. Like, the range of emotions, and, you know, you get kind of stuck in like these negative thought patterns and all sorts of things. So we signed up to experience a lot.
Yeah, and we signed up for most of us, to forget, right? You know, where we came from, and that's why we're always looking for that love again.
Yeah.
Is because we know that it's there within us. We don't know how to find it because we're not taught from a young age to look for that. We're taught to look outside ourselves. We're taught to please others and not ourselves, you know?
Yeah.
So I got off a little track there about what is energy consciousness. But we are, our soul is energy consciousness. Yeah, it's part of it, and it fuels the body. So the body has its own systems. It knows exactly how to operate. We don't have to pay any attention to it. It just does what it needs to do, right? But it is the soul consciousness that fuels the body. So the body, you know, it's inanimate if the soul's not there.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work.
It's like a battery.
So, you know, yeah, a really intelligent battery.
Yeah. Light waves of intelligence.
Yeah. And so we're jumping into little pockets of what is energy consciousness, right? But then once the soul is fueling the body, we start to perceive our environment. And it's that energy consciousness again that feeds the physical body. So we start doing that before we're even born, before we enter the physical body. We observe our parents, and we observe. So I know this because I've witnessed myself witnessing my parents before I decided to be born. I nearly didn't come.
Yeah, I remember like we had this conversation, I think, just between the two of us, like a couple of years ago, about being able to witness like our parents as a soul before we kind of arrive in this physical body. And I thought, cool, I'm going to try that out too. And I was horrified, like, as a soul. I'm like, what?
Yeah, well, it's an intricate process because you can see I would say from how I experienced it, right? I saw, and this is no judgment on our parents either, because they've had their own life experiences, and everyone does the best that they can do, with the knowledge they have at the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I witnessed my mum, her belief about herself, her belief about my dad's ability to be a good partner, a good father, her ability to be a good mother. I witnessed my dad the same. I witnessed, his perception of my mum, his perception of himself, the level of love that they had for themselves, the level of love they had for each other, the level of love they had becoming parents, the level of love they had for me, the coming baby, the fears they had about me, the coming baby, all of it, right? So that formed my first belief pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not that part just there. It was the part where my soul turned around and said, I'm not leaving all of this for that.
Yeah.
And I tell you now, I love my parents, they're great people. But I turned around and I got to about 180, and I said to myself, this heavy responsibility came over me. And I turned back around because I was like, if I don't go, all those people that I have contracts with won't play out.
Yeah.
So it's not only mine that won't, come into light and be, in the world, but theirs won't play out properly either.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a way that gets filled up with something else, but I felt that overwhelming responsibility. So 2 patterns created right then and there to activate in the body. And that was the weight of responsibility and resentment to my parents. And I didn't know this until decades later, when I had that vision and the understanding. And then I could travel back through the timeline of my life with my parents, and I could see all those subconscious patterns playing out, subconscious and conscious patterns playing out based on resentment.
Yeah.
And from the tone of voice, from the words chosen, everything.
There's so much we accumulate. Like, we don't even know it's there. And like for most of us, like we just don't have that level of awareness that we even start creating beliefs before we incarnate. We just don't know that that's a thing. So when it comes to like, we want to do something like clear up our limiting beliefs, and we're like, yeah, I've probably got, because I used to think I had maybe like 3 or 4 of them, probably got 3 or 4 limiting beliefs. So wrong. Especially like within that context, like we don't know. And because a lot of it is either like buried deep in the subconscious, or it's not even a belief. It's more like an imprint or a pattern in our field somewhere. There's so many different layers to that. And so it can be like going on, it's just so mind-blowing. Like, wow.
Yeah.
So who knew?
Well, I will say before we move on that I don't carry that resentment anymore. That once that was identified and I could see it, that was clear and left, right?
Yeah.
But we need to have something that feeds information into the body. So that's why we have that perception before we're born, because the body is the computer.
Yeah.
Its job is to respond to our perception and how we react to our perception.
Yeah.
Via the vibrational frequency of energy.
And that's energy consciousness.
Yeah.
There
we go. We're done. We've done it.
So fast. It's taken decades for people to figure that out, like you and I. That's okay. Just a couple of minutes. Boom. Okay. So my next question for you is, how can we start noticing like energy consciousness within our own bodies? How can we start doing that?
Well, I guess one of the, let's take it really back down to basics then. So I would start with, we're talking about our thoughts and our responses, so that's our emotions. I would start with those that don't lift you up, right? Start to identify what they are, and then close your eyes and allow yourself to have some moments where you can be quiet and just allow the breath to take you to that quiet place. Breath's very powerful. And then notice, say those statements or feel those feelings, and then notice where you feel it in your body. And a really simple, basic beginning thing is to send that area love. Is to feel into the heart space and go into, appreciation. Maybe it's identifying something that you can appreciate, or maybe it's a memory, whatever it is that takes you there, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a great song or something you love to wear or a piece of art. I don't know, but just whatever it is that takes you there, utilize it. And then send that energy, that feeling to that area in your body until it dissipates and you don't notice it anymore.
Yeah.
And there's another thing that we used to do in yoga is you'd feel that part in your body and then you just breathe to that place. And you start to notice that the tightness, the heaviness begins to feel lighter and more
You feel
expanded.
the release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's playing with energy because
It is.
every feeling is an energy that is stored in the body.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
like for me personally, like when I first started doing this work, like I was just amazed, like at all these different places we stash things. We stash a lot of energy in places. And sometimes like we have a go-to place, and I know I have a go-to place, which is my right leg. I jam a lot of stuff in there.
That's your big bag.
Yeah. But it can be anywhere. But I think like, so if anyone who's listening kind of wants to do this, one thing that really helped me was learning how to quieten my mind, which is where like the breath work comes into it. Because the minute you start getting analytical, you stop listening and paying attention to your body and you're all up in your head. And I
Yeah.
really found like pranic breathing to shut off my the logical part of me and the monkey mind trying to figure things out, like, you know, my body's a game of Tetris or something. It's not the case.
Yeah.
So I found that really useful. So if anyone's listening and they know that they're a very analytical person, yeah, breath work, like Terry said, very powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a very analytical person. You wouldn't think so with the work that I do and where my consciousness goes and what I see now, but you probably think I'm up with the fairies. But yeah, I'm a very analytical, grounded person.
Yeah.
And yet connect with the multiverse.
Yeah.
Out there, the macro and the micro, you know.
Yeah. Well, because we're all connected.
Actually, that's a good segue into something I'll share with you.
Mm.
So this week, a couple of days ago, I was working with a client. I have this guide. I don't know my guide's name. I just know he's from Andromeda. So I looked
I've
at.
got one from Andromeda too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, he's only been working with me for about 3 weeks. So I had to look up where Andromeda was. It's in our own Milky Way system.
Yeah.
Yeah, so so, you know, when I'm working, before I see someone, I do a remote viewing and he came through with all this lovely information about our physical heart. And he was saying that, you know, people tend to think that the brain is the leader for the physical system. And he said it's actually the physical heart.
Mm-hmm.
And the physical heart is our gateway from the non-physical manifesting in the physical through the consciousness of our heart. And, you know, if you would like to know more about that, go to heartmath.com because they do a lot of scientific-based research around the heart to brain cohesion.
Yeah.
So people like you and I, we can experience that and we're fully aware of it. But for people that need that scientific backing, you can go and check out HeartMath. They're really good.
Yeah, it gives you a bit more kind of reassurance about that kind of subject, like in general, because it's not very tangible, and like the heart math can help make it like quantified a little bit so that you have more confidence in what you're kind of exploring and understanding. So I get that. Like I kind of
I needed that in the beginning.
Yeah.
I needed that. I thought I was going crazy. So yeah. I really liked, you know, tangible stuff and, you know, grounded people sharing, you know, esoteric kind of, you know, out there information.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really helped. But I don't need that anymore because, you know,
because
I trust my guidance.
You trust your guide, and you've got like this beautiful perspective on things, and like you said, like this macro and micro perspective of consciousness.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to share with you. So while I was working with this client, he said to me, look at the galaxy within. And so while I was working on these specific organs, I was taken down into an individual cell. And like I've seen this before, but it was just so beautiful the way he showed it to me. I saw this cell open up and, you know, like an old projector the ray of light that goes from the projector to the screen so you can watch something, right?
Yeah.
It came out like a projector of energy, but in that projector was the whole universe. So I was looking at all of the galaxies in this little projection, and then underneath. So, you may have heard scientists or people like us talk about, everything that's in the universe is in us, is in the cells of us.
Yeah.
And it's so
You
true.
are the universe, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but it is actually in our physical makeup, it's in our energetic makeup. And so what I was seeing and knowing and understanding all at this one moment was that beautiful galaxy that is out there, because when you connect with the galaxy, you're aware of everything. You're aware of divinity, you're aware of the pure love that's out there, you're aware of all the consciousness of the planets, everything. And all of that was held in this tiny little cell. So, the consciousness goes right down to this micro environment in order to witness and feel it, just like I would if I was in that vastness of space. And then underneath that was this gorgeous, iridescent, luminous white light, almost like holding and projecting it. And that was the consciousness of Source.
How cool is that?
In that tiny little cell. Yeah. So I won't go into all the other stuff that he was sharing about that experience and how to help that person through those organs, where I could. But it's, all that divinity, all that source love is held in every tiny cell, and at the very center of our cells is pure light.
Yeah.
There's nothing physical.
Yeah.
And so that big consciousness that we were talking about before, and that droplet of our soul and the perspective of, our world, it's all this beautiful undulating frequency that radiates, from our mind and our hearts, our emotions down through our body, and then our organs or our legs or whatever, our joints, hold that information for us. But yet at the very core of every single cell in our body is pure divine loving light that we can tap into.
Absolutely. And just expand it outwards.
Yeah.
So it takes up more space. I really like that. So what would be, like, if people started paying attention to what's going on in their body and where they feel like these heavy emotions and things in their body, like what would be the main benefit in doing that for them?
Oh, well, there's a ripple of benefits, right? We talk about, there's so many energetic techniques that you can utilize.
Yeah.
You don't always have to use one, and you don't always have to go back to thoughts and emotions. There's lots of different ways. But let's talk about thoughts and emotions, because we're utilizing that every second of every day, every single one of us. So the benefits would be that you change when you start to focus on the thoughts that aren't serving you anymore, right? That aren't aligning with the way you want to feel or what you want to manifest in the world. Then you can change those thoughts, because it changes the neural pathways in your brain, which changes the quality of the frequency that's resonating through your nerves or your glands. There's a valley in the middle of the brain, for people that don't know, that has the corpus callosum, or the tiny fibers. And when I see it, I go into the micro environment within the brain. So
I love that you do this. I think it's so cool.
The corpus callosum looks to me, and seriously, I did not know the brain anatomy at all until I started this work and started to see the brain.
Yeah.
This
is why, by the way, I just want to say, like, this is why, for me, like, you're the absolute, like, guru, like, when it comes to energy consciousness within the body, like.
Oh, it is
like what you can perceive, like, to me is just phenomenal. And I think, like, wow. What a big mission you've chosen, Terry.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It is funny. Yeah. So we go down into the corpus callosum, and to me it looks like thousands of tiny little fibers that is the highway of information between the left and the right hemisphere.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was I saying about that?
Highway of information. It's like a valley.
Oh yeah, because of our thoughts, right? So when you're working on the thoughts, you're clearing out the frequency between even the corpus callosum for that to share more harmonious, balanced, beautiful, clean frequency for the rest of the system, right?
Yeah.
Because all that goes up in here will then travel down through the brainstem, through the central nervous system and out to the peripheral nervous system, connect with all the organs. Yeah.
So it becomes like an instruction because that's how we're wired. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know how, you know, Andromeda, I call my guide Andromeda until I hear a different name. So what he was saying about the physical heart, and then we were talking about, you know, the heart-brain cohesion, you know, you do all this work with the thoughts, but that's also shifting your heart. So, you know, we're working on this analytical area of thoughts and cleaning them up. So identifying what thoughts don't work and switching them out to what will work. So when they show up, I'm going to change it to this. And then that becomes kind of like your homework, right? Your energetic homework.
Yeah.
And it's up to you to be aware. So when do those thoughts show up? What am I going to change it to when they show up? And then have that beautiful love for yourself, no judgment. Get rid of judgment. It doesn't serve anybody. It doesn't make it okay for you to do the work on yourself. Just throw it in the bin. Judgment is gone.
Yeah.
But whenever, so I know I'm jumping around here, but whenever thoughts, old thoughts show up that you have identified that you want to change, just, you don't have to, you know, if you're out at work or you're in public, you don't want to always do this. But just a little rub there to bring your attention to your heart even. It's just like this little habit.
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then that reminds you to connect what you're doing to your heart space.
And sometimes like that's really hard. Like it's easy to say, but if like something has happened, like there's an event and like something's happened and you feel just like absolute rubbish, then like that's such a challenge to go back to your heart
This
space.
work is a bloody challenge and it's worth it. It's worth it. Yeah. So, you know, no matter what's going on in the outer world, just tap. Even if you can't feel it in the beginning, but you'll have the knowledge. Oh yeah, that's love.
Yeah.
To remind me about, you know, compassion for myself, kindness for myself, non-judgment. So take a little breath and do the switch in the mind. And then when you can start to amplify that feeling, then connect that feeling. Oh, I love that I get to do this. I love that I've got this superpower, because it's a superpower. So many people operate on automatic pilot that they're not co-creating consciously the life that they're creating, right? Because in every single moment, they're creating that energy footprint for that future. So today I created this energy footprint, you know, yesterday and all those days prior.
Yeah, and it's like you want to live in, if you want your future to be like really, really happy and joyful and easy breezy, if you want to experience all those things in your future, you need to feel them today. Like you need to connect to that energy today because that's where you're creating from. And you can't experience any of that if you're like today, like down in the dumps and going, oh, this is crap, my life's garbage, this is so hard. Like those feelings are not a match for how you want to live in the future. So you really need to consciously make that change and make it a conscious shift to do it. And I made a deal with myself that I was going to notice. This is, I think, 6 years ago. I made a deal with myself. Every time like a lower vibrational feeling comes up, I'm going to notice and I'm going to get rid of it because that has no place in my future. And it's out.
Yeah, that's good. That's
like
good.
such conviction behind it. And so I do, like sometimes I will, especially at first, like it just felt like this never ending. I've got stuff to clear, stuff to clear, stuff to clear. But back to your point, Terry, and like what you were saying, like the benefit of that is you don't have to experience those feelings anymore because they're out, they're gone. You can still experience it like an aspect of it, but not with the same intensity.
Yeah, it's the intensity you want to lessen, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you become a non-feeling individual that only vibrates in love. That's
because we're not robots.
If that's what you want to do, just don't incarnate.
That's right. And then, but you don't feel like as many things push your buttons.
Yeah.
And so all the situations that would normally bother you kind of dissipate.
Yeah.
And then there'll be some random experience that comes up and you're like, got to clear that.
It's not so triggering. Yeah. Well, you know, we spoke about the heaviness and the beginning stages, right? Of things that you can do, like thoughts, right? So I'll share with you a way that this can evolve because, you know, I'm no different to anybody else. I lived, you know, the first half of my life being fully reactive. and not knowing
Yeah.
that I had this ability, or that people have this ability.
Me too. Like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was woo-woo nonsense.
I didn't even know it existed. But you know, a way that as it can evolve, right? Just going to give you a real life situation is that last December, November, December, I was in Japan.
Yeah.
And I went to this beautiful town. If you're ever over there, go to this town, Kumakara, something like that. Kumakara sounds something like that. It's on the coast, not far from Tokyo and Mount Fuji. Anyway, we went there, and they've got this really big, huge metal Buddha in one of the temple grounds. And you know, I used to study Buddhism, so I have this beautiful, loving connection with Buddha. I just love the energy of Buddha. And my sister had passed away while I was over there, and I stood in front of Buddha, and I just felt that sadness and that heaviness, and I just said, you know, just to shift this, just transmute this energy in my heart. And instantly I felt this energy come in from behind me. I felt my guides around me. I felt the loving, it's just a statue, but it's the energy built into this this statue of the identity of Buddha that comes out, right?
Yeah.
And that energy came and washed over me, and it's such a high frequency, high vibration of love and compassion. And instantly that energy moved my heart, moved what the emotions I was feeling. This all happened in less than 2 seconds. And I felt peaceful, expanded, and happy for my sister on the journey that she's now on.
Yeah.
All in less than 2 seconds.
Yeah. And it can happen that fast, like if we allow it to, like it really can.
Yeah. Yeah. Consciousness really is in everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to ask you actually, because I've noticed, right? So your experience with standing in front of like the statue of Buddha and just feeling that energy that kind of radiates from that. I've noticed, right, when I, for example, will do a clearing or something for somebody, if there's anything in their house that they don't like, like a wall or cushions on chairs, whatever it is, like there's something about their house that they don't like, it stands out. And it's like every day they work past it, they kind of imprint this energy of, I hate that, I hate that, I hate that. It imprints it. So I imagine it's a very similar thing, but with this statue of Buddha, it's just so much love. And every time people have like gone to pray or gone to the temple, that they're like infusing this energy into that statue as well, and kind of compounding love and compassion and all sorts of things into that statue. So you feel
and it's
very
not just
strongly.
the statue either. It's the idea that we all carry about Buddha ourselves, you know, and across the world, that all that energy is focused also at that statue. So which amplifies compassion.
Yeah. So it's the statue itself, but then it's also like the consciousness of Buddha.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, here you go. So if you're ever in Hawaii,
I love Hawaii.
So yeah, my spirit team took me to Hawaii, not a place I ever wanted to go. And oh my God, it is a place of my soul. But anyway, we're all over there, and went to a few of the islands, and we came back to Waikiki, and my husband said, didn't you mention that there were healing stones over here? And I was like, oh yeah. So we hired a car, and we Googled, and we found it. It's in the weirdest place. Anyway, so whoever in their wisdom has taken these healing stones and removed them and put them wherever, right? But in its place is this white cement little building that with an open doorway, and inside are little pictures of gurus and flowers and incense and candles, and I got there and I was like, no, it's gone. And my spirit team said, no, just sit here and meditate for a bit. So I sat down and meditated, and the amount of energy and healing that comes from this place So also from what you were saying, you know, all these people coming there and sharing their love and their devotion and all the beautiful things that they bring, plus the energy that is left there from the earth coming up to these stones that used to be there is still there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because time and space is not really real, so we can still connect.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so cool. I love that. And this is all consciousness. Like this is all energy consciousness, like what we're talking about.
Yes.
That's very big. We're summing things up like lightning speed.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like manifesting, like if we really want to manifest like a life that we love, what would be like the main thing that you would tell people like to focus on when it comes to energy consciousness and like manifesting? Because sometimes it can be a real challenge. We get stuck, we come up hurdles, or you know, we try doing things like raising our vibration, and staying like really positive about things, but nothing externalizes, nothing changes. We kind of give up and go, it doesn't work. That's garbage. It's not even
The
true.
funny thing is that it all comes back to your own frequency, because everything, you know, there's so many ways that you can manifest, but we're always manifesting. Like we're not. In every moment, every day, we are manifesting via our frequency.
Yeah.
The universe can't line up anything for you unless you're a match to it. So if you have an accident at the set of lights, there was something that you were a match to at that moment in time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you would have missed it. You would have been a little bit earlier, a little bit later. It wouldn't have touched you, for example, right? So we're always manifesting, but I know you're talking about co-creating the life that you desire from your heart, right? So one of the big things, like all the things we've just spoken about, will help you shift your frequency.
Yeah.
And it has to come, you have to have the knowledge that it's all energy based, but not having an attachment to what that outcome is key as well. Where if we're super, you know, this is so important to me and it has to happen, otherwise I just won't be happy, then you're putting such an importance on it that actually drops your frequency and it raises your frequency off to what it is you actually want.
It does, absolutely. And like I kind of like to think of that as like I was single for a very long time. And so I like to think of that as like attachment to do with like when you're out and about as a single person and you're in a bar and someone comes up to you and you can tell there's like this level of desperation and it's so off-putting, like no, because it feels heavy, like you can feel it in the interaction, like this isn't for me, like no thank you.
Yeah.
But then like if someone who doesn't come in like with such like attachment to getting like an outcome that they want by coming up to talk to you in a bar, if they're more kind of laid back about the whole thing, then it feels more expansive.
Yeah. And you feel that connection, right?
Yeah. So I kind of think like yeah, like attachment is a little bit like that. Like if you do go too hard and too fast, like it's off-putting. The universe goes, no, thank you. Like it's not a vibrational match for what you really want. Because when you arrive there, like you're not in that energy. You're not in that energy of let's gotta make it happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I always used to say, when you're in your 20s or whatever, and your friends are like, oh, I just want a boyfriend. I was like, well, then don't think about it.
Yeah.
Don't think about it, and it'll come.
Yeah.
You've already said you want a boyfriend. You know you want it. Don't pay it any attention. And when the right person comes along, you'll just know.
Yeah.
It'll happen, and it always does.
Yeah, it does. And even like if you're like being single for a while and you end up in a relationship, all of a sudden other people start approaching you because all of a sudden you're a lot more attractive because your energy has shifted. You're not looking for a relationship anymore, but here they all are like
Yeah.
So like that kind of shift. Like I think with attachment for me anyway, like I can see a lot of parallels to the dating world and about like the level of attachment that's a good fit and the ones that are not a good fit.
Yeah.
And like that obsessing over the same thing over and over and over and over again, I don't think that really.
No, and that saying is so true. Where your attention is, energy will follow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where do you want to place your attention, right? Yeah, you're going to focus on that. Because, you know, the body's going to hold all of that. And if you don't, you know, not just talking about dating, right? Wherever you focus your attention, your body is going to store that and compound it. And then you're going to get, you know, the illness or the issue, whatever that is, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So maybe sharing something like that about, you know, what I've seen the body hold on to might be nice for people.
Yeah, absolutely.
To link that up. So this is going back a number of years, but I worked with this lady who was having trouble falling pregnant, and her ovary came through, and it was really sad and disappointed and frustrated because, and I didn't know her story, she told me later, but her ovaries were releasing the eggs, but fallopian, as she named the ovary name, because I can talk to the organs. So the organs are like personalities, you know, they're like people. And the ovary said, well, fallopian's not letting my eggs through. I'm doing my job. Fallopian's not letting them through. And she was really frustrated and sad. And when I looked at fallopian, that fallopian tube was like shriveled and a little twisted, and it was feeling, its energy was really, really low. So we had to work on raising the frequency of it. And anyway, later on, the lady told me that that was true. The eggs kept getting stuck in that one fallopian tube because the sadness and the stress and the worry and all of that she'd built up trying to get pregnant years beforehand started to interact with those organs. So her fears would come true.
It all manifests, like it manifests internally. And it all starts with a thought and a feeling.
Yeah, a perception, right?
Yeah. And then if we hang on to it and keep, you know, creating this story that we think is true for us, it's like an instruction. Our body's like, oh, okay, then.
Yeah, well, remember, the body has its blueprint that it operates by. The soul fuels it, so allows it to have life.
Yeah.
And our perception, our thoughts, our emotions from that perception instruct the body on its vitality, its enthusiasm, or its sickness and illness. Yeah.
We're so powerful. Like, we don't even know that we're doing this stuff.
Oh, I know. Anything we can conceive, we can start to work towards, and not start to work towards, interact with energy consciousness and shift it.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just energy. You can move it around.
Trust. Got to trust. Get rid of doubt, get rid of judgment, and just start playing and trusting.
Yeah.
And you'll start to see results.
Yeah. I love that. That's so awesome. So what are you working on at the moment, Terry? Is there anything in the making?
Yeah, it's a busy year.
Yeah.
So right now I'm working on an online program, The Empire Within. So that's a video coaching and workbook self-paced program that will be coming, all to do with pretty much everything that we've spoken about today.
Oh, that's awesome.
Help people, you know, rewire those neural pathways and how to do that, and work along with the videos, with the instructions and meditations, all sorts of stuff in there to help get that heart-brain cohesion, shift your frequency, and start to get in control of, you know, what's going on, so that you're consciously co-creating your life, because that's the superpower, right? We've got to create that superpower that is there within us and bring it into the physical consciously. So we're working on that at the moment.
I love that. When's that going to be ready?
Hey?
When's that going to be ready?
Well, I've been so busy with work that I'm not quite sure yet, but hopefully very soon. I'm hoping in the next 4 to 8 weeks, but we'll see.
Okay, well, that's exciting. So if people want to jump on a waiting list, what do? They shoot you an email?
Yes, at this moment, so seriously, I've been so busy, I haven't been able to do anything on my website because that's getting an overhaul at some stage. Yes, yeah, the email is the best. So, via the website's got my phone number, my email, so text or email, yeah, any of that. There's also on there, I could send that through to you later. Sorry, I forgot. A sign up that you can do to be on the free monthly newsletter. So you could do that as well because all those people will get notified. Yeah. So there's a couple of other programs coming as well for online, but I have to tell you my heart passion, what I'm really here to share with people, which I could spend the next 20, 30 years doing. This is coming also, I hope, this year because it's a big project, but it will be how to converse with your organs.
Yeah.
But it's not just that. It is everything we've spoken about, bringing that consciousness, that divinity that is in every cell, knowing how to converse at the right frequency, lift everything into a beautiful frequency so that people can be their own medicine practitioner, right? Their own energetic medicine practitioner.
Yeah.
And you can
be... We're all wired to do this work.
Sorry?
We're all wired to do this work. And we just need someone to go, so you can do it. This is how you do it, and away you go. And I love that you're that person.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
That'll end up being an online self-paced program that people can do.
Yeah.
But it will also be live workshops as well. Want that, connection and that. Because, when we get together in a group and we do energy type work or anything that is heart focused, right? The level of consciousness of energy that is available jumps like a 50-story building. It is huge in its shift. So, we can definitely have those things, tangible things that we can utilize in our own home, when we need them in our own space. But coming together, that's got a superpower in itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
So I'll share with you, I just took my family to a local spiritual church a couple of weeks ago. And it was so cute. There was this lady in there, she was talking in light language. And it was so lovely. And, I'm just closing my eyes and listening to her, and I could feel the frequency of that light language that she was talking.
Yeah.
And what I saw was that, it's just showing you how it is when everyone gets together and what shifts in the energy, right? I saw all these beautiful light beams coming into people's crown chakras, but I saw the higher quality of energy that was available for everybody in that stream of light. And it doesn't mean that everyone absorbs it. It just means it was available if they were ready in that moment, right?
Yeah.
And I saw all these beautiful angels and guides around everybody. And one of my, and I'm not even religious, but one of my guides is Jesus. And he's funny. And he was standing over here and he was jumping around. He's like, oh, this is like a party for us. We love this. We love this. It's because of the energy, right?
Yeah.
Everyone listening, everyone together. This beautiful lady talking in light language, the energy jumped and amplified, and beings on the other side could feel it and wanted to be a part of it and support us and help us raise that even further.
I love that. That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So cool. Thank you, Terrye. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I will put all of the links to how you can get in touch with Terrye in the description for you too. And I'm sure that you're going to be back on Unmasking the Magic because you're such a magical person.
Oh, thanks for having me on, beautiful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We'll see you all soon. Ciao, guys. Where's the stop button? Thank you for joining me on Unmasking the Magic. Today's journey has been a glimpse into the power of blending the mystical with the material world. And there is so much more to dive into so that you can explore your own metaphysical gifts to create unparalleled success and fulfillment in your life. If you enjoyed today's episode, I would love to hear from you. And please share this with anyone you know who will benefit from adding a little magic to their own life. Keep unmasking your magic, and I'll see you next time.